Hello everybody, Tim Buckley with you on this Friday evening. We're closing in on 9 o'clock and we're tracking weather that is coming into our area. You know, I'm talking about this throughout the last several days about these winds are going to be pretty high. And that's all there is to it here. We're not talking about anything super fancy or super complicated. There's no snowstorm this weekend. There's no ice storm. Thank goodness. First weekend in a little while that we haven't had a winter threat, but there's still a weather threat. And, you know, it's not super serious, but it is something we want you to be aware of, that the winds are just going to crank really highly over the next couple of hours. It's just getting going right now in the North Carolina mountains. I don't think you'll notice much of anything until after midnight. And then once you get through that later on time frame, from 2 a.m. through morning, through Saturday afternoon, the wind's just blowing around. And it'll be hard to ignore it. Everyone will notice how windy it is outside. And while it shouldn't create too many problems overall, there's the threat of some scattered power outages. And so that's kind of our whole job here. We're trying to let you know when the weather could be a little impactful for you, a little bad for you, and then you can act on it. You can make those changes, not be caught by surprise, and hopefully be in a better position. So let's get you prepared and squared away. What I want to show you is this right here. The map is not too busy. Not yet. The wind gusts. That's what we'll be keeping an eye on. Over these next 12 hours, 24 hours or so, it's starting to crank up a little bit in the mountains. 38 in Jefferson, 24 in Boone, 23 mile per hour gust right now in Winston-Salem. And what's been happening is we had a cold front that slid through earlier today. You might have noticed it. It brought a couple rain showers for many of us. It brought actually a couple of snow showers for a few people in our northern tier counties. And with that, colder air is about to start to move in. And that's going to be the sign of that wind picking up. So it'll be the cold and the wind kind of acting together here, making for a pretty uncomfortable Saturday. Let's look at the temperatures. Not bad, actually, at the moment. Upper 30s to low 40s. It was a decently warm day. By recent standards, it was a decently warm day. The average high is 51. We haven't sniffed that in a couple of weeks, but this is progress, I guess. In any case, these numbers are going to go down overnight tonight. We'll start to see them dropping and dropping. In fact, our model does continue to suggest that the temperature falls pretty fast over these next couple of hours. Let me play it out here for you so you can see it. It has us in the mid-30s around midnight, and then the upper 20s by tomorrow morning. So the cold air is a little bit delayed, but what's not delayed is the wind. And that wind is really the whole reason we're talking here right now. We can look live outside. I doubt you'll be able to notice the wind on our camera in Winston-Salem just yet. But up in the North Carolina mountains, it has been pretty windy. I want to bring up here our weather camera in Boone. This is on the main drag there, right there along King Street. If you look really carefully, always take a look at the stoplights here, or the street lights, I mean. You'll see a couple flurries. There have been a few snow showers, some light snowy accumulations on the rooftops. But on top of that, the wind is starting to get a little bit higher. Hard to tell right now, though. It seems like they're doing all right. So overall, we're waiting on this. We're waiting on this to start to take hold over the next several hours. We have a wind advisory in effect. So everybody on the screen here, everyone in brown, which is everybody, that light shade of tan means a wind advisory. And in this case, what we're expecting to see with a wind advisory would be winds that could gust 35 to 50 miles per hour at times overnight and into tomorrow. Probably the worst of it for us will be between about 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Now, North Carolina mountains, a little windier. High wind warning up that way. Those winds could get as high as 60 miles per hour. So it's a News 2 weather impact alert. That's why we're here chatting with you about it on this evening. Don't forget the wind chill. I do think that wind chill will be tough to take, about 0 to 10. That's what it feels like at times. So let's work this hour by hour for you now. And our model is, trying to assess the situation. So this is around 9 o'clock this evening, right about now. That's what it thinks should be happening. Let's go forward. This is around midnight, picking up a little bit, but still not that windy. Not terribly so. By 3 a.m., by 5 a.m., and 7 a.m., This is when it really starts to get windy. So think about that before sunrise time frame. A lot of us might have some really noisy sleep here. Noisy with trees kind of blowing around and, just racket. Just racket on your roof. The kind of noise that it sounds like when you have a storm about to blow through. That's going to be the way that it is. And there's no storm, there's no rain or snow. This is all just rain, or all just wind and clear sky. But the wind gusts will be in that 35 to 50 mile per hour range through tomorrow morning, through the middle of the day, and even a little bit into tomorrow afternoon. So this is around 1 o'clock. At that point, we're starting to see a little relaxation of the winds in the triad, but it's still a pretty breezy day. Late tomorrow afternoon should just be regular windy. I do think overnight tonight, tomorrow morning, and tomorrow midday, that's extra. That's extra windy. Tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, we can probably handle it. But before then, we do need to be mindful that there could be some issues here. Maybe a couple scattered power outages as a result. The wind chills should be tough, right there around single digits tomorrow morning, mostly because of the wind, not quite as much because of the temperature. As we go throughout the day, the temperature is still pretty cold, and then Sunday morning, still breezy. Low temperatures are in the teens, and that feels like it's worse. It'll be in the single digits out there, so you got to be careful about that. So make sure you're bundled up if you're going to Sunday morning church. Anything early on, you'll want to be very mindful of. High winds are with us, as we said. We're expecting those winds to be in the 35 to 50 mile per hour range. And so what can that do for you? Well, it can lead to scattered power outages. So, basic tips would be have things charged up. You're going to want to have some things charged up around the house. Your phone, your laptop, whatever you want to have for the weekend, charge it up. Nothing wrong with that. Never going to regret charging something up, I would say. On top of that, probably secure any outdoor objects that might be blown around the yard. Those are the main things that you can do. Other than that, you don't have to do all that much. If you are going out and about, make sure you're bundled, especially because it will be really cold out there. Just keep that in mind. This all has to do with this cold front sliding by us, and once it does, well, it'll still be cold. It'll still be cold. Not quite as windy for Sunday, but it will be pretty cold. One thing I do want to mention while I have you here, let's take a look at Sunday afternoon. You see right here, this is around noon, a couple snow showers are possible. How many times have we said that? A lot. A couple snow showers are possible. Sunday afternoon, not a problem, but it's something. Most years we'd really freak out about that. Maybe not right now in the winter of 2026. The 7-day forecast here, you see a bit of a warm up. Going into next week, I have us in the 50s to near 60 by Tuesday and Wednesday. Be careful out there with the winds. They'll start to crank up a little bit as we go throughout the evening, especially so toward tomorrow morning. We'll have more updates for you, of course, as we go throughout your weekend.